I don't believe that when Peter in Acts 2 quotes Joel 2, he's quoting it for purposes of saying Joel 2 is now being fulfilled.
Dr. Woods, Acts chapter 2 verse 17 quotes Joel chapter 2 verse 28. It says, "And it shall be in the last days," God says, "that I will pour forth of my Spirit on all mankind, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams." My question is, by referencing the last days, is Acts 2:17 specifically referring to the tribulation period? Or is it referring to the present day?
Well, I sort of have a different take on the citation of Joel 2 in Acts 2. I don't believe that when Peter in Acts 2 quotes Joel 2, he's quoting it for purposes of saying Joel 2 is now being fulfilled. The reason I don't think it's being fulfilled is there's a lot of things happening in Joel 2 that never happened in Acts 2, like the sun being turned to darkness, the moon being turned to blood. And there's an awful lot of things predicted in Joel that are happening in Acts 2 that were never predicted in Joel 2, like tongues. So I think Joel 2 is being used by Peter in Acts 2 as an analogy. And Peter is basically saying you should recognize the work of the Holy Spirit, because remember, they were attributing the languages that they were hearing, the crowd, to drunkenness. And what Peter is really saying is, no, it's the work of the Spirit, and you should be able to recognize the Spirit and his work, because the Holy Spirit is going to do something very similar in the tribulation period and the millennial kingdom. So my view on Acts 2 and how it's being using Joel 2 is different. It's consistent with the views of Dr. Thomas Constable, Arnold Fruchtenbaum, etc. So with all of that being said, when Joel 2 uses the expression last days, it's talking about the tribulation period and the millennium. And when Peter, by way of analogy, quotes Joel 2 in Acts 2, he is analogizing the expression last days to the beginning of the church age. So I think the way Peter is using the citation, Peter is basically saying the last days are now upon us. The church age has started. And so I think that's how Peter is using the expression last days. He's using it differently than how Joel uses the expression.